Welcome to another episode of Golden Nuggets, Tips and Tales, powered by Property Finder, the platform that celebrates top real estate talent and helps the best get even better. We're going to be exploring exclusive tools from Property Finder that enables and empowers agents to grow, perform, and lead. Welcome back to another episode of Golden Nuggets, Tips and Tales. And today I'm joined by Laura Adams, who's a sales director at Provident Real Estate. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Today we're going to talk about a corner of the industry is a little bit underrated. It's the leasing, rentals, leasing side of things. And it's typically where most real estate agents will start their journey in real estate. It's like, oh, play around and leasing, but I don't really agree with that.
I don't agree with that strategy. I mean, I think we're one of the only large real estate companies in Dubai that don't do that. And we also let our agents do primary, secondary leasing sales. And also we don't put them in a box. So we don't say you have to do X, Y, or Z. But in saying that, leasing is the key to the success of Dubai real estate, really, apart from the unparalleled payment plans. Second, I believe, is leasing. I mean, the ROIs that I've seen over the 18 years that I've been here have gone up to 12%, and the lowest I've seen is like 5%. And that was when maybe the villas were a little bit lower rents. I mean, but now we're getting villa rentals come up to 6-7%. And I mean, you've worked in London, you'll be lucky to get 1 or 2% after you've paid all the bills and changed the water heater and God knows what else. But it's unparalleled. So to not have leasing and not have a strong emphasis on leasing in this country would be absolutely insane. Personally, I love leasing. I started off in property management in London and I went on to do leasing. I think the most I did in Fulham was 42 deals in 1 month.
Wow.
Very busy month. But you can do those numbers. And for someone with a slightly overactive brain or like can't sit still, don't want to sit behind a desk, leasing is perfect. It's like you meet every walks of life. But also you get to show your owner the return that you promised them. I mean, doing the full circle is always going to keep you those what we called golden eggs in your portfolio of clients.
What tends to happen is the agent will sell a property and think, oh, well, when they get into sales, they tend not to go back into leasing.
I would still do everything as a broker because that's the whole point. And that's one of the reasons why we branded Provident Real Estate a services company, not a brokerage.
Right.
So we go from off-plan, which I'm sure you know we're number one with Shoba, top 10 in Damac, Emaar, Maras, Dubai, Holden, etc. So we do very well in the primary market. But then what is happening to all of those clients that we sell to, 200, 300 off-plan a month? Then we have Position, which is our snagging company, which then for international purchasers, they will go and do the handover with the developer, full MEP servicing. Then it goes into our leasing or property management or to our secondary sales. That way we're doing the full circle. And then obviously we do golden visas, everything else on top of that. But the point that I'm trying to make is that we don't want to just sell a dream. And we want to actually, because selling a piece of sand is actually a hard job, especially to a new investor. The lead closure is like 12 weeks to convince an international buyer to have confidence in escrow, etc. I don't understand why people waste their time without doing the full circle, because then they're going to reinvest.
And you end up losing the client to another brokerage that does offer the full 360 services.
I don't like it because you have to do 4 or 5 viewings or whatever like that. Well, those 4 or 5 viewings that will take you, let's say a day. It's going to lose 6 months of investment that you've put in to win that client over. But also the commissions now. I mean, most of the commissions, you'll be walking away with 20, 30 after you've split with your company on a villa, a big villa. That's the same as a sale of a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment.
Back to leasing, why agents should not kind of maybe turn their nose up at it. I'd say most of the top super agents have properties for sale and for lease to maintain that control of the relationship, to maintain the level of service. What would your advice be for landlords when it comes to dealing with agents when it comes to leasing? Because right now the market is, most people are doing really well, would you say?
I think so. I think a major proportion of people, both brokers and investors.
Yeah. So the focus is purely on sales right now. Sales off plan, secondary off plan, secondary off plan.
There is no specialized company for leasing, which is a shame, really. I think the checks have something to do with it. Still a bit prehistoric in the way that we are doing leasing. Landlords sometimes prefer to do the short-term route because then they have more flexibility on selling, which I understand. That's one of the main reasons why the villa market shot up so much in prices, is because the minute a villa is empty without a tenant, it's bought and they've got 4 or 5 buyers for vacant on transfer, as opposed to having someone on notice. You're going to have to pay a mortgage and your own rent while you're receiving rent from someone else. And then there's, I can understand that landlords stand back from it a little bit, but to find a professional leasing agent would be very, very difficult.
Back to that leasing agent, what qualities do you think they have that perhaps their sales cousins or brothers and sisters don't have?
So I've got one guy, Ahmed Fuad. He's amazing. He's been working with me over 6 years now. He only does leasing. He doesn't want to do sales. And I'm not pushing him either. He literally generates great income consistently every month. See, that's the difference. Leasing is consistent.
Might be small ticket,
but
it's
regular.
A
small ticket, but it's consistent. And that means that you're getting, and I also know someone else that works in Dubai Hills that won't go into sales because they've seen the niche in the market, that there aren't real professional agents doing leasing. They're just doing it because their company's not letting them do sales.
And what would your advice be for tenants of today?
Tenants, well, definitely call the agent and find out what the information is, the checks, the amount of payments, what's expected, what's the terms of the agreement are very, very important. Break clauses people aren't aware of. Research a little bit about the law first. It's not like you can rent somewhere and give a month's notice and leave. It's just not like that. So if you're going to commit to a year, make sure that you can commit fully for that year. And basically just find the property that you definitely want to stay into.
It's harder with leasing, I think, because as a tenant, you're a lot more, you'd consider probably 20 communities as opposed to a buyer who'd probably only consider 2 or 3 communities. So how do you help tenants work out which community they want to be in?
See, I think tenants either have, they work on a budget. I have X amount, what can I get for that amount? Or they have a metro. They have to be by transport. Those are usually the 2 decision makers of where the tenant's going to be. If they want to walk, if they want to be near their gym or whatever. When you're buying, maybe you're looking at the developer. Maybe you're looking more at the facilities. Maybe you're looking more at the area and what the supply is and what the appreciation will be. So the thought process is a little bit more simplistic, but it's the fact that narrowing it down before you go out with agents. Otherwise, you will be pulled from pillar to post. So find what you want first. Otherwise, you will confuse yourself and then commit and then go and find something in that building with the best agent.
Great advice there for tenants. Thank you very much, Laura. And lastly, for the agent that's listening who's in leasing and is thinking of, I think I want to get into sales now. How should they know they're ready?
It's a different game. I think the philosophy behind agencies making people do leasing first is just to get them self-disciplined, make sure that they're turning up to viewings on time, making sure that, that they can deal with the bigger, larger amounts of money that are involved in sales. But to be honest, if you're a salesperson, if you've been trained well, we put our agents through a 2-week training course. It doesn't matter how many years experience that they've got. If you're trained well and you have the art of sales and your integrity and your morals, then you're going to do well, whether it's leasing or sales. But I just believe that you really need to just treat every client the same. There's no, like back in the day in 2008, 2009, no one wanted to sell Discovery Gardens. I'm not selling a 200,000 dirham studio. But what they forgot to notice was actually it's one of the only first freehold opportunities to buy. So when we were selling Discovery Gardens, our landlords and sellers were owners of signature villas on the Palm.
Yes.
So don't ever judge a book by its cover or by his investment or whatever. Always treat everyone exactly the same, and you will do well if you're in leasing, if you're in sales, or any aspect of real estate.
Yeah. And remember that your tenants of today are your buyers of tomorrow.
Correct. And they're more likely now.
And are your sellers of the day after tomorrow.
Yes.
So let's not take the spotlight off leasing. Big respect to everyone in the leasing department.
Yeah, big up the leasing crew.
Thank you very much, Laura. Hope you enjoyed that episode. Why don't you watch all the other episodes, especially Laura's, or binge the whole season while you're at it? Thank you.